November 1969. Held for car theft, Charles Manson and the family were slowly being tied to a string of murders. From her cell in Inyo County, Manson girl Katie Lutzinger started talking about Susan Atkins being a killer. The victim? Musician Gary Hinman, who had been stabbed to death 2 weeks before the Tate LaBianca murders. Atkins was transferred here to Sybil Brand Institute for Women in LA. Suddenly, everything came crashing down.
She told these two co-inmates of hers that family was responsible for the Tate LaBianca murders. One of the girls called the LAPD with a dime at a payphone.
And it broke the case.
The persons for whom warrants have been issued are Charles D. Watson, Patricia Kernwinkle, and Linda Kasabian.
1 week after this announcement, Charles Manson and 5 of his followers were charged with 7 counts of murder.
They were kids from average American homes. It shocked the country. Hippies up to that point were never associated with violence and murder.
I'm not committed to nonviolence in any way.
Yet the killings did not go unnoticed by the Radical Weather Underground's leader, Bernadine Dorn. Dorn said her weathermen dig Charles Manson and, quote, offing those rich pigs with their own forks and knives. Weatherman Mark Rudd said the group adopted a 4-finger fork salute. 24 July 1970, Manson, Atkins, Krenwinkel, and Van Houten went on trial at the Hall of Justice in downtown LA.
The problem was that Manson was not physically at the murder scene participating in the murders. And the 2 main pieces of evidence that I used to connect Manson with these murders were motive and his domination over his family.
Back in Texas, Tex Watson was still fighting extradition to California. In LA, a cleaned-up Linda Kasabian became the star witness for the prosecution.
I'd like to see them fall on their knees and beg for forgiveness.
Because she was so necessary as a witness, Kasabian was given full immunity. As every prosecutor says, you don't find witnesses to a crime in hell in heaven.
The trial was almost as bizarre as the murders.
Manson leaped across the counsel table at the judge with a pencil in his hand and screamed, "Someone should cut your head off, old man." He held up a newspaper to the jury that said, "Manson guilty, Nixon declares." The women, they did whatever he told them to do.
They carved X's in their foreheads. Manson later changed his into a swastika. When he shaved his head, the girls did too. Outside the courthouse, the circus never ended. Here, the Manson girls staged their bizarre crawl for freedom.
These Manson family people were like creatures from outer space to the majority of Americans.
What I remember most is his eyes. He was staring at me as I testified. They were just dark, piercing, just evil eyes.
Rumors ran wild when Leslie Van Houten's lawyer, Ronald Hughes, disappeared 4 months into the trial.
Hughes goes up to the Sespe Hot Springs area of Ventura County to work on his argument. When the court reconvenes the following Monday, Hughes did not show up.
We all thought, my God, I just wonder if the family killed Ronald Hughes.
From what anybody could discern after, a flash flood came along and washed him away.
In January of 1971, it took the jury 7 days to reach a verdict.
It was our belief that the jury could only come to one verdict, guilty.
Each defendant was convicted of every count with which they were charged.
The 4 were sentenced to death on March 29, 1971. In October, Tex Watson was also convicted for the Tate LaBianca murders and sentenced to death.
Next year, 1972, the California and U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the death penalty was unconstitutional, and everyone on death row in the country, their death penalty sentences were irreversibly reduced from death down to life imprisonment.
Today, the 5 remain incarcerated and have regular parole hearings.
I don't harbor hate for them. I wish them the best within controlled environment situations.
Manson member Squeaky Fromm tried to assassinate President Gerald Ford in 1975. After serving more than 30 years, she is set for parole next week. After 40 years, the public's fascination with the Manson saga has yet to wane.
You think, how could this have happened?
It's unbelievable.
It goes beyond the weirdest concepts of sick fiction.
This story's just too far out.
Stay tuned for more. Summer of Evil, the Manson Murders.